Part of Harry Houdini's mission was to expose fake spiritualism. But this man, Black Herman, used spiritualism to empower an entire community. One of the most profound black magicians that you've probably never heard of was seemingly magic himself. Benjamin Rucker was born in 1889 in Amherst, Virginia. He began apprenticing for a traveling performer named Prince Herman. He was taught things like sleight of hand, spiritual salesmanship, and African remedies. When Prince Herman passed, Benjamin Rucker took on the moniker Black Herman to honor his mentor. The act that made him the most famous was his resurrection illusion. He staged full funeral services with a glass lid casket, mourners, a pronounced TOD, and he'd be interred as a show in public. Days later, he would rise, walk on stage, and continue to perform like everything he just experienced was optional. For those who didn't understand, it was a spectacle. But his act was intentional and it was catered for black audiences. He sought to show that in a segregationist world that tried to bury them, they could still rise. He combined escapes, illusions, and stage magic with something much deeper. Ancestral African knowledge, tradition, and spiritualism. He sold dream books, oils, powders, talismans, protective formulas, and elixirs. Many, if not all, that he provided as tools for survival. He also authored Magic, Mystery, and Legerdemain. It served as a coded life manual for the black working class. It included spells for love and luck, rituals to protect from injustice, astrology charts for navigating court dates and dangerous travel, spiritual warfare strategies, and dream interpretations. He was using entertainment as a bridge for something so much more, for a community that absolutely needed it at this time. He wasn't just a businessman, he was a businessman. He was self-funded and booked everything himself. He trained his own staff and published his own books. He also refused access to white magic clubs and elitist circuits. Instead, he carved a path through Black America. And despite being well known at the time for his work, he was refused access to major magic societies throughout the United States. When Prohibition eventually came, his merch table was full of things that should have got him arrested. But because his elixirs were African health remedies, he was untouchable. He was still able to help people with medicine and magic and stay one step ahead of law enforcement that was out to get him. During the Harlem Renaissance, Harlem, New York became his home base. His performances would continue to be inspired by people like Marcus Garvey. His shows were immersed with burial, rebirth, miracles, and revelation. And many could not explain the genuine resolutions that they had in their lives while they watched him perform at black theaters throughout the South and to mixed crowds throughout the North. On April 15th, 1934, while in Louisville, Kentucky, he collapsed of heart failure. He was gone, but many people did not believe that this was anything other than an act. His assistant decided that he would turn this into a final act. He did this under the guise of the resurrection illusion. Crowds came and expected Black Herman to rise again. And when he didn't, people believed that he was never really there. He was allegedly buried in an unmarked grave in the Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx. Black Herman was a movement in motion. He proved that magic could be resistance and empowering. He showed that mysticism could be a tool of economic survival. He preserved and embedded African spiritual systems in entertainment, palatable for those who could not see the deeper meaning of his work, and revolutionary for a black community who was seeking to redefine power for themselves. When the spiritualist movement became about exposing lives, he was there changing them.